Clippers are out of Los Angeles and into an interconference game. Welcome to the Big Apple. The Knicks are playing before their hometown crowd here in New York. 2K Sports brings you this broadcast of the NBA. This is Kevin Harlan, and with me, Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. And the Clippers start in 5, brought to you by State Farm. Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, they're inside. Chauncey Billups out there with Chris Paul, and it's Butler in at the 3. And for New York, Melo and Amari at the forward slots. Jeremy Lin is out there with Landry Fields, and it's Chandler in at the center filling out the middle. Now here's Stoudemire. Lin the pass to Stoudemire. Shoots over Griffin. And it's Stoudemire missing.
You know, looking at Amari's numbers from last year, he had career highs in points per game, and that was even as he was being the focal point of opposing teams' defenses.
Fields against Billups. Just 5 on the clock. High post try. It's rebounded by New York. You're right, Clark, going back to Amari. He took 19 shots a game, but was still able to keep, Steve, his field goal percentage over 50%.
Well, it's not easy to do when you're seeing so many double teams. And now that Carmelo Anthony is going to be on the Knicks full-time for a full season, I think you'll see Amari with even more room to work with on offense.
Let's find out now what head coach Vinny Del Negro had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
Well, Kevin, he wasn't nearly as concerned about putting a bunch of points on the board as he was about limiting the scoring on the other end. He said defensively, they should be able to dominate this game. Let's watch and see, Kevin.
Thank you very much, Doris. So it's mainly Clark and Steve about defense for them early on.
Well, you know what I mean. It's pretty simple. The fewer points you allow, the fewer you have to score for yourself. I mean, that's elementary.
Yeah, and particularly in this game, I think it makes sense. I mean, establish the defensive end of the floor, try to convert some buckets in transition off your defense, and try to take control of the game that way.
And the slam by Blake Griffin.
Great looking bounce pass to set up that play. And the Knicks last season did not use their bench very often, kind of typical of Mike D'Antoni team. He relies heavily on his starters, and that was the case a year ago.
Tony Douglas is checked in for the Knicks. Here's Paul. Fields against Billups. Jordan. Now Chandler defending. And the pass goes out of bounds, and they'll turn it over. Get back to what you were saying about that New York Knicks bench. You know, a big part of that was they were so short-handed. Remember, Clark, when they got that trade and trying to, bring Melo up to speed on what they were doing?
No question. I mean, it got them Melo that trade, but it also left a few players tired because they lost some of their bench depth. Could have been why they saw so many late-season injuries as players were maybe a bit worn out. You think about Chauncey Billups going down late. Interesting discussion. Now that's a special order right there.
Not everybody can cap off a dunk like that.
Yeah, very difficult maneuver, but a tremendous one if you can pull it off. How impressive was Blake Griffin? Became an all-star in just his first season actually playing with the Clippers. And not many people can ever do that in the NBA, especially these days when the players are coming in at such a young age. Boy, the defense read that one beautifully.
I think he wanted some one-on-one time with the rim. He wasn't letting that thing go.
No, a little pose up there hanging on the rim, just kind of showing off a little bit, Clark.
Deflects the pass. Here's Stoudemire. That's in there. Anthony with the assist. Blake Griffin, an all-star in his first season. The last rookie, Clark, to be selected as a reserve for the all-star game. Tim Duncan back in 1998.
It's pretty rare you have a player walk into the NBA and pretty much immediately claim superstar status. It was a combination of the weight for Blake Griffin after the injury that cost him his official rookie year, and then also doing it in LA. And it doesn't hurt when you can become a hit on YouTube with all of those monster throwdowns.
Outside Anthony. And Griffin picks him up defensively. 6 on the shot clock. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
You know, in his Knick playoff debut, Amari Stoudemire had a bit of the good and the bad. I mean, he played great when healthy, but back spasms really hurt him.
And back to that series in Amari. Steve, he just wasn't the same after game 2.
Well, that's when he hurt his back, as Clark mentioned. And at that point, he tried to tough it out. But you could tell. I mean, he was not himself. He just couldn't get it going. And without his production, the Knicks had no chance.
The Clippers in the lead. Phillips dishes to Jordan. Williams shoots over Douglas. Williams can't get it to go. 58 seconds left to play here in the first. Anthony kicks to Jeffries. Back to Anthony. From down in the low post, it goes.
He's so graceful around the rim. Sometimes you forget how strong he is.
Here's Williams. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. That one's on Anthony.
Mo Williams came over to the Clippers in that deal for Baron Davis at the deadline a season ago, and his numbers really picked up after that trade. He was very happy with the move and played very well with the Clippers.
Back to that trade, it seemed to be just the change of scenery that Mo needed.
Yeah, you know, folks can get stale. I mean, players sometimes stay in a place too long. Coaches can do the same. It can happen. So it seemed like the change of scenery was pretty good for Mo. And the Clippers needed a veteran like him. So that could add to the equation as well.
And here is Stoudemire. Maurice Williams letting it go from 3. Anthony, the pass to Walker. This one for 3. They get the rebound.
You can see it in his eyes. It became mano-mano. He wanted to return the favor with that 3, but just didn't get it to go.
Griffin dishes to Williams. Used the shot fake to create the angle, but couldn't get it to fall.